Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Morning Mindset. Are you ready? Are you ready to get your mind aligned with the truth of God today? We are wrapping up our 2022 Prep series today by looking at Galatians chapter 2, verses 20 through 21. We're going to be going back into our study of the book of Proverbs beginning tomorrow, but I don't want you to miss the possibilities of what your 2022 could be like if you reorient your heart and your mind around the priorities that God has for you. Go back to December 26th and begin this entire series, listening through episode by episode if you need to help yourself get ready for 2022, spiritually speaking. That's what really matters. Okay, today, before we get started, I want to remind you about our upcoming Pray Together episode. Those happen every Friday. There's one coming up tomorrow. Please go to carriegreen.com/prayer and fill out the short form. If you have a request you would like the entire Morning Mindset audience to have the opportunity to pray for, we will include it in that episode and pray for you. If you have a praise you would like to share, please do so as well. carriegreen.com/prayer. You can find that link in the description for this episode as well. All right, Galatians chapter 2, verses 20 through 21 have been instrumental in my life, in helping me orient my identity around who God says my identity is. And the real crux of the matter is that I am to give up everything that I think I am and everything the world and my upbringing has taught me that I am, and instead trust who God says I am. Let's look at it in Galatians 2, 20 through 21. This is the Apostle Paul writing. He says, I have been crucified with Christ. So 2,000-ish years ago, when Jesus hung on that cross, we as believers in Jesus Christ were hanging there with him. This is a literal thing. This happened on the spiritual realm. Our identity was placed into Jesus at that moment because he was bearing our sins. You might say it the other way around. He was identifying himself with us by taking on our sin. And Paul says at that moment we were crucified with him, and it's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. So you see, when Jesus died to pay the price for our sin and rose from the grave, demonstrating his power over sin and that he had defeated it, his new life, that resurrection life, was then given to us. So somehow, in the way he identified with us as sinners by dying in our place, he also identifies us with him by making us resurrected new spiritual beings along with him. And Paul goes on, he says, and the life I now live. So he's talking about today. He's talking about tomorrow. He's talking about everyday living. The life I now live in the flesh, he means in this human form, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Now, what does that mean to live by faith in the Son of God? Well, he's saying, I don't live my life according to my own smarts anymore. I don't live my life according to the strategies I've developed to protect myself and to get my self-esteem needs met. I don't live that way anymore. Instead, I trust the Son of God to meet all of those kinds of needs in me on a deep spiritual heart level. See, friends, when we can understand that is the role Jesus plays in our lives open up to all kinds of amazing possibilities because we're no longer working for the approval of other people. We're no longer working to prove things to ourselves. We're no longer striving for worldly success in order to prove to ourselves that we're successful or competent or capable or worthy. Instead, we are by faith trusting that what Jesus says about us is true, that we are loved, we are complete in him, we are fulfilled in him. His death on the cross proves all that and makes it all true. And then verse 21 is key. Paul says, I do not nullify the grace of God, for if righteousness were through the law, then Christ died for no purpose. Now, this can feel like it's almost tacked on, but what Paul is saying is, I don't go back to trying to work my way into God's good favor. That would be nullifying the grace of God. Instead, I trust that Jesus' righteousness is credited to my account, and that is my identity before God. Oh Lord, set us free through these truths this year as we enter 2022. Give us the ability to know our identity in you and to give up our own strategies and trust you for all of our fulfillment, all of our satisfaction, all of our identity, so that we can live free and in the power that you provide through your resurrected life. It's in your name we ask these things, Jesus. Do it in 2022.